And we're back. Got our little technical difficulties worked out. Harry, how are you? One of my favorite humans in the entire universe.
Hi, Celia. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm tuning in from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I couldn't be more excited to to share with you all today.
Well, we are super excited to have you. And if you would, I'm going to give you a chance to tell a little bit about yourself and then go into your training. And I'm excited to be with you on this training, and whatever we need to do, we're doing it together. So I'm going to let you take it away, Harry.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Let me just make sure my mic is good to go here. Can you see me well, Celia?
We see you well and hear you well.
Okay, great. All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Harry Lopez. I am, as I said earlier, currently in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm based in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So I've been in Thailand for the last 4 months. I'm originally from Miami, and I consider myself now a traveler, but really more so a time traveler. And I've come today to share some pieces of wisdom and some medicine that I've learned and gleaned throughout this journey of life, and um, just been so deeply humbled by my experience traveling internationally, learning so many, learning from so many incredible people that I've met along this journey. So I'm so excited to connect and to share more. And I don't know if there's a chat section where I can see where folks are from, but if you'd like to chat in any way, feel free to do so. And I'm excited to share a little bit more about the power of silence and the ways in which silence has supported me in my life and in this journey. And today I want to make the case for silence being the tool that really supports us in taking back our power. And I'll say that again, silence as a tool to support us in taking back our power in this lifetime. And so I'm going to go into more information about the silence, and I'm going to take us into a relaxation, into a meditation where we're going to be able to really deepen into the stillness and the silence. But before that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I've learned about the silence. So, in Sanskrit, there's a word for silence. It's called mauna, and in Tantra as well, it's called mauna. And mauna refers to fasting, like a fast from words. And how fitting that today I'm going to be speaking about the silence and fasting, because right now Ramadan has just happened. Today, Passover. So there's a lot of celebrations and holidays that are ongoing and underway, where folks are really tuning into the purification of self, purification state. Oh, hello, Chicago. Welcome. um, Hi, I'm Johnson. So the silence is really just tuning into the silence is powerful for us to support in the purification of ourselves. And as we know, so much of our experience here is really tuning into the wisdom and the intelligence of our bodies. So today is really about dropping into our bodies, because our bodies house so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and so much of our practice and our learning and our conditioning here as humans has been a lot of taking us outside of our bodies. And a lot of the medicine here is really tuning into what does the body have to say? What does the body want to express? What messages do I get to tune into and listen to? And that's the power of the silence, that we're able to really listen. So let's go ahead and drop into the silence. So wherever you are, I just invite you to get comfortable. Placing both feet comfortably on the surface of the earth. Facing your palms, maybe on your lap, facing upwards or downwards, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And really arriving here in this moment. Arriving here fully in your body. slowing down time, slowing down the sensations that are running through your body, not needing to be anywhere else but right here. Tuning into the sounds around you, the air conditioner, footsteps, birds chirping. Also feeling your sit bones on whatever surface it is that you're sitting on or standing. Feeling yourself being held by the earth. And I invite you to take the deepest inhale you've taken all day. And just for a moment, let's drop into the silence. And I invite you to repeat after me. I embrace the silence. I embrace the silence. I embrace the silence. And as you utter those words, I invite you to just breathe in through your nose, expanding the spaciousness around your body, lifting yourself up into your freedom, into your joy, to your possibility, and holding it for a couple of seconds at the top. And when you're ready, fully releasing out of the mouth, audibly exhale out of the mouth. Until you have nothing left. Exhale until you can exhale no longer. And going ahead and continuing to have your eyes closed. And take a moment to connect to why you decided to join this in the first place. Connect back to your purpose. Connect it back to something that you're grateful for in this moment. Maybe a child, maybe your child, maybe your parent, maybe a recent win or accomplishment you've had. And taking a moment to connect back to yourself, purity of you, free from any limitations, any misidentifications that are not in alignment with the truth of who you are. Taking a moment to just see yourself in that state and just breathe deep presence into that. and fully releasing. And I'd like to create some friction here. So I want you to just put your hands together and just go ahead and rubbing your hands together and creating some heat with your hands. And slow and quickly pick up the pace until your hands get warmer and warmer and you start really building the heat. As I like to say, nothing cooks without heat. And once you've got some really good heat, going ahead and stopping and putting your hands over your eyes and just warming up your eyes, regenerating, revitalizing your eyes from the inside out. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose with your hands on your eyes. And really drop into this exhale audibly out of the mouth. And at your own pace, slowly begin to take your hands off of your eyes. And whenever you're ready, at your own pace, come back to this room with the fresh eyes of a child. All right. Welcome back. I hope that was refreshing for folks. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Again, the silence is really how we take back our power. Because in our world, in our current world today, we are inundated with so much noise. There's so much distraction. And in the moments of or opportunities of dropping into silence and stillness, we're constantly bombarded with so much noise. Dopamine, social media, technology, to-dos, errands, you name it. This is the most distracted era of our entire lives. This is the most distracted community, distracted society that has ever existed. So you dropping into the silence is a radical act of revolution. It's a rebellion. And it's really about learning to appreciate the unappreciated. Because how often is silence appreciated in our society? It's not really, right? So when I first moved to Thailand 4 months ago, I was invited to go to a Tantra yoga, an ashram. It's called Mahasiddha Yoga, and it's led by some of the most beautiful instructors in the entire world that reside a little outside of Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is where I'm living. And it was my very first time doing a silent retreat. And if you've done a silent retreat, you know how powerful these experiences are. But this retreat for me was truly life-changing. And I left very different than when I came in. And I think during our experiences with COVID and different life experiences that we have, like there's opportunities for us to be alone, right? To be with ourselves. But how often do we completely disconnect from the world? Completely allow ourselves to, oh, yay, please do visit in Thailand. I'd love that. How often do we allow ourselves to completely disconnect from all the noise that's coming at us, right? We are bombarded left and right. Like it's so easy for us in this conditioning to disconnect from the truth of who we are, to disconnect from our bodies, to be outside of our bodies. And so any moment that we are able to really tune into the silence is real medicine for us to really remember who we are. I like to say that to remember who we really are, because so much of this life can be really fast. So much of it can go so quickly. So when we really drop in, we're able to really appreciate the nuances, the beauty, the descriptions, the colors, the sounds, everything that is around us, like really tuning in to the reality and the truth that we are not separate from anything. We are connected to everything. We are connected to all life. It is no longer duality. It is no longer even quadrality. It is the totality of our experience, because we're totally interconnected. interconnected. We are positive, high frequency beings who are multidimensional, and we are incredibly resilient, resourceful, and our bodies house all the intelligence that we need. And we can seek to nature to provide everything and all the answers that we're looking for, not outside of us, but within us, right? Because the biology of our bodies is the organism. It's far more intelligent than we ever give it credit for. The technology and the instrument of our bodies can support us in the regeneration and the revitalization of ourselves. And without us even realizing, without us even knowing, we are consistently purifying ourselves. We don't even have to do anything much to have that happen. It's already organically, naturally happening. The patterns and the things that have kept us in our quote unquote slave state are already falling away. And so much of us really tuning in is really dropping into silence and stillness. And for a lot of us, the silence and stillness is deeply uncomfortable. So we'll allow ourselves an opportunity to experience moments of it, but we won't allow ourselves to really experience the fullness of what we can really achieve with the silence. So the silence is a state of beingness. It's a way of being. Silence is not the absence, it's not just the absence of sound, but rather a state of being where one is fully present in the moment without the distraction of external or internal noise. And so, really tuning into that, if we are to drop into the silence, we can remove the external noise from our lives for moments. But what about the internal noise, the internal chatter of the mind, right? Well, who do we be with ourselves when we have these limiting beliefs and these thoughts that often hold us back, that can be paralyzing? So my invitation for everybody today is to welcome the thoughts, welcome the internal chatter, knowing that it's perfectly normal, but to not identify, to not attach yourself to those thoughts, to see them as clouds, almost as a movie, just clouds passing by. It's just passing by. Or as one of my teachers says, they're just coming up and out. They're just coming up and out, wanting to be loved on, wanting to be witnessed, wanting to be experienced fully for their totality. Silence can be achieved through various practices such as meditation, mindful breathing, and other forms of inner contemplation. So even as we're here together, just be tuning into your own breath, knowing that the breath is medicine, that you can always come back to the breath. You can always come back to your inhale and come back to your exhale. Silence is also a really beautiful way to connect with the divine. So whatever form of connection you have to a higher power, source consciousness, unity consciousness, whatever God, supreme creator, the absolute, whatever it is for you, like the silence is a beautiful way to facilitate connection with the divine. By quieting the mind and letting go of thoughts and distractions, you can access a deeper level of consciousness and connect with the universal energy that permeates everything. In Tantra, silence can be used in conjunction with other practices such as mantra, visualization, and physical movement. By combining these practices with silence, you can achieve a deeper level of awareness and experience the transformative power of Tantra. So, I want to make the case that silence will support in three very powerful ways. So, number one, the silence will support you in connecting with your intuition, with your thoughts, your feelings, connecting you with source consciousness. When we talk about intuition, one thing that I like to think about is that it's like your intuition is coming from, I like to call it the super conscious. Like you have these like hits, these knowings, these things that you can't even put to words, these like revelations and insights almost. The silence supports you in that. It's the supporting you in the full purification of self. Next, number two, the silence will support in the nervous system regulation. For so many of us, we're conditioned to just be workers, worker doers, worker beers, and so we're just working and doing and working very hard to accomplish and achieve and to get to somewhere. There's a really famous, or like one of those stories that I like to tell about these two rabbis that are sitting on a balcony, and they're talking to each other, these two rabbis, and they see this woman running down the street, and she's just running towards some destination. Like, she looks very exasperated and very much stressed out. And they look at each other and they're like, where is she going? Where is she going? Right? Like, where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we doing what we're doing? And oftentimes we're caught up in this unconscious cycle of just doing out of unconsciously seeking external validation and our power outside of ourselves, versus really being willing to slow down, drop into the stillness, and to question everything. One of my favorite spiritual teachers is Byron Katie. And if she's here, hi Byron. If you're a fan of Byron Katie's, hey, you can find more of her work on www.thework.com. Big fan. And she says that there's no new thoughts. There's just recycled thoughts that have just been constantly looping over and over and over again. She says that all stressful thoughts are just thoughts that have gone unquestioned. So I believe that the silence can really support us in questioning and beginning to inquire deeper and deeper into the beliefs, the thoughts that have held us enslaved in our own minds. And the slave state, that is a term that refers to this trance or this illusion that we often find ourselves in identifying with a limited perception of self, a smaller version of ourselves that holds us back from really tuning into the totality and the full experience of the embodiment that we can achieve in this lifetime. And our work here is really to come back to the embodiment of pure love, to embodying pure love. Because we came in as that. We came in as pure love as babies and children. And our work here is to continuously remove the layers and the separation and the patterns that have gotten in the way of us fully accepting and embodying and knowing that truth. So I believe that the silence can support us in nervous system regulation. And we look at our society and our world, and there's so much fear that is rampant. So much fear that holds us back from from giving ourselves the permission and the opportunity to live an optimal life. Fear of abandonment, fear of being ridiculed and rejected and exiled, fear of scarcity, fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, and so on and so forth. And these are all programs of the ego, because the ego runs in the story of not enoughness. And what does the ego hate more than anything? Stillness, silence. Because in the stillness and the silence, the ego cannot continue running. We can really begin to detach and to drop into our own inherent truth and our own inherent love, which is such a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful that at any moment we can come back to the purity of ourselves. What a gift. And the more that we awaken within ourselves, the more that we awaken and embody the purity of love within ourselves, the more that we can support others in their embodiment and awakening and begin to light up the world by doing this. We can light up the entire world like fireflies. And that's what we are. We're here to serve. The reason for living is giving. We're here to give fully of our gifts and our talents and all of us and all of ourselves. Silence can also support us in presence and mindfulness, to cultivate a deeper sense of presence where we're not distracted by the external and internal noises, but to be fully present in the moment, fully present for the experience of life, to appreciate the beauty of our surroundings, and to cultivate greater clarity and appreciation. Oh, thank you, EC. So let's take a moment to drop into presence. I'm going to do a breathing count for those that are here, and let's just follow along. We're going to breathe in for 6 seconds, hold for 6, out for 6. So whenever you're ready, let's begin. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Let's breathe in for 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And out. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one more round. In for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale out of the mouth if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just staying in silence here. Unclenching anything. Again, just welcoming any tension or noise. Whatever's here for you, just totally present to it. Being with it, not trying to get rid of it. Lovingly accepting it. Continuing the steady flow, inhales and exhales on your own. Knowing that in this moment, you are absolutely perfect and radiant. Any story outside of that is just a story. You can have compassion for the part of you that wants to identify with that, but it's already falling away. It's already your old slave self, your old self, limited self. This version of you knows all of it, knows the entire truth of your inherent worth, of your power, of your radiance. That if you want it, you can have it. That sure, they shine, but you can shine too. That there's enough room for you. There's no separation, no identification with any kind of scarcity or limitation or limited sense of self. That in this moment, your whole body is already regenerating. Because that's the power that you have within you. And how beautiful it is to know that. So breathe into that with deep presence, with love, with joy. And release. And I'd like to invite us into a tapping. So let's just grab your left hand out like this. And I just want you to begin to tap your hand. Just connecting back to self. And I want you to repeat, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. We can go under the eye. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Let's go to the forehead. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Let's go to the top of the head. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Just sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Both. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And just go ahead and wrapping yourself up in so much love. We all need a lot of love. We humans need a lot of love. And we start with ourselves. Just going ahead and wrapping yourself up. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. And I invite you to just repeat any affirmations, words that you want to say to yourself. Oh, I'm so powerful. Oh, I'm so worthy. I'm such a phenomenal leader. I'm a beautiful daughter. I'm a beautiful son. I am kind and I mean well to the world. Whatever it is, going ahead and inserting it now. It supports you to just continue tapping whatever wants to come through you. I love 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 myself. 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 Hmm. Hmm. So, I just want to go ahead and start wrapping up. Today, I came to you to speak about the silence. Good, I'm so happy you like those incantations. Feel free to continue using those. I think they're beautiful ones to just come back to every single day. I believe that the silence is really the way that we can take back our power. I think that in tuning into the silence, we learn to appreciate the unappreciated. We learn to drop into our bodies, to connect with the divine, to connect with our intuition, to connect with source consciousness. We learn that it's a state of beingness. We learn to regulate our nervous systems. We learn to alleviate our stress and our anxiety. We learn that to drop into presence, to drop into the totality of our experience here, the universality of what it is that we're here to do, what we're up to in our lives. And we're able to really zoom out from this identification with a 3D self, or this small limited self, and really tune in to the vastness and the enormity of this entire life and this entire experience. So yes, coming back to the basics is so powerful, and there is deep magic and power and so many gifts in the silence. Thank you. And I'm open to any questions. So if anybody wants to ask any questions for Q&A, feel free to do so.
Thank you, Harry. Amazing,
Celia.
amazing program. And so relaxed that we're all relaxed. We're also we're all so relaxed we can't go on. I think we need a nap now. I think people truly love that. Oh, I think we have a question or we have a statement from Matthew. Hold on. It says masterclass in guided mindfulness meditation incorporated at Beta. I hope I said that right. Non-duality, pleasures of presence, object discrimination, loving observation of the illusions of self. Well done, Harry.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. I'm so glad you liked it.
Yes, and laughter is so healing, guys. And after our next speaker, I'm going to be talking all about how laughter is the best medicine. So stick around.
It
But
really is.
Harry, I wanted to talk to you about a few things that you mentioned and make sure that, yeah, see, we're all too relaxed to ask questions.
Where is this being streamed? Who's seeing this?
Streamed in various Facebook areas. It's streamed on YouTube.
Oh, wow, nice.
I think that's it. I think those are the locations. So I wanted to talk about you had talked about that this is a good one that we can talk about that Anupam brought up. Social media comparison leads young people to rely on others' approval for self-validation and goals, leading to self-doubt. And just your thoughts on that whole impact of social media on our youth.
Wow, this is a really big conversation because it's one that is being had, I think, globally around the world with monitoring or conversations about what to do with Instagram, TikTok. Not just young people, like someone just chatted in, but like all people. I think that we're all being influenced. We're all like the comparative mind is really, really kicking in, and a lot of us are. It's creating a lot of out of bodiness, like where we're not in our bodies, we are outside of our bodies, and we're looking outside of ourselves for that validation and those answers and that acceptance, versus being able to really tune into ourselves. I actually believe it's really quite harmful. If one doesn't have the attunement and like the mindset and the tools to be able to separate oneself from what is actually happening and not being in it, like being completely in it, it's really, I believe that it can have really detrimental effects on psyche, mental well-being, mental health. We're seeing that more and more, the statistics with mental health. So I believe someone said this once: the longer you spend on social media, the longer you should be meditating. And I think that there needs to be healthy policies. Like however long that you are, if you're spending a lot of unhealthy time on social media, or a lot of time on social media, I believe that everything should be moderated. Like you should create healthy policies for yourself where you're using it for good, right? So being a conscious creator versus just consuming. Like if you're gonna be there, consume and create. See how you can continuously continue giving. Right? For the reason for living is giving, and also being able to separate yourself from any stories of the mind that say, "I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. I need to change my face. I need to put on filters because I'm not good enough." Like being able to see what the technology is doing. Right? So this is a huge conversation right now. But I believe, again, the stillness is a really beautiful antidote to this, like really embracing silence. In fact, in Indonesia, they have a whole day, a national holiday that is dedicated to silence, where everyone just goes into just embracing the shh. And that's what we're wanting to do, is just shh to the mind, shh to like the clutter, the ego. Shh. And sometimes it's helpful if you do that in your meditation, or if you go into the shh.
Yes, taking out the trash.
Yeah, completely. It's so good to see you, Celia.
It's always good to see you, Harry. I love you.
I love you too.
We have another question. Any thoughts of literal breaks from talking therapeutic vows of silence? Sorry.
Okay. Any thoughts on literal breaks from talking?
I guess from talking, pause, therapeutic vows of silence.
So if you have any connection to any kind of Vipassana meditation silent retreats, look into that. I would also create your own sacred ceremonies of silence, creating those rituals for yourself in the morning, really honoring your morning rituals, your sacred routine where you're just in silence. Perhaps creating a policy for yourself where you don't check your phone until 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever it is. Like a lot of folks tend to wake up in the morning and check their phones immediately and are already bombarded, right, by all of that. I also think that you can get as radical with this process as you'd like. I've seen and heard of meditators who are, oh, thank you, of meditators who will take a vow of silence for a month at a time or days at a time and enroll and invite their friends and family to know that that's what's happening. Hey, I'm in silence today. Note cards. Use
Right.
note cards. Use your phone to message or whatever it is, or create the conditions where you're able to separate yourself in that way.
And Linda just said she cooks in silence.
Yeah, it's like wash the dishes to wash the dishes. Like cook so that you can actually cook, so you can be present and mindful.
So the food tastes better, and I notice what I'm adding for more flavor.
Well, yeah, that makes complete sense because you have less energy that's being expended on the talking and more energy that's brought into really tuning into the flavors, the sensations. So you're deeply listening to the process.
And that's a wonderful thing for children too, to slow down eating, slow down chewing, and really help children to also be mindful of foods and flavors and textures and talk, and have them think about it and help them recognize that. So we have some of the most successful people on social media are only on it for 15 minutes each week. Even Evan Carmichael doesn't even have a phone. It's all possible. Choose your happy. Yep, be intentional.
Amen.
And I think that's the point of a lot of this is be intentional with your silence. Be intentional with your breaks. Don't be influenced by others with your schedule. So many demands of society now, your work will say like, I have to do this. I have to do this. You have to get this done by this time. You have to get this done. Oh, and they'll call up and in an instant you need something done. You need to set up boundaries or people will be, can you do this? Can you do that? And we're afraid to say no. We need to say no. As he said, it's hard with a toddler at home, but when we run, I tell him we have to be quiet. Oh, yummy. I like that. Katie Kimball's kids tongue twister right there. Can you say that?
I know.
Can you say that fast 10 times? Katie Kimball's kids cook. Real food is great for teaching kids how to cook with you safely. Yeah, it's always great to teach kids to cook. And there's another great coach out there that I had on my podcast, the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. Little plug for my podcast. And it was by Chef Kibbe. And the first thing he teaches kids to do is to use knives, being careful, being, mindful of your body.
Wow.
Yeah. So many messages, I can't read them all. Taking a bath instead of a shower, no radio or music, light a candle. Yeah, and think of all the ideas that come to your head while showering, while taking a break, while taking a bath. It's that silence is creative and allow children to have that silence. Yeah, tongue twisters. We all love tongue twisters. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh no. Oh no, I know you're here, but I pushed a button and now I can't find you. So there we go. There we go. Okay, I'm back. So it's so real brief before you leave, Harry.
Sorry.
Take a moment in your hysterics. Can you touch on the silence? And I'm not saying this right, I'm sure, journey that you went on, because I know you went on that journey that took you through a long period of silence.
yeah, like literally the journey that I went on through Thailand.
Yes.
So yes,
Because that's how it started. That's how you got there, right?
I my friend Jenny, you know, she called me and told me that she was going to go to Chiang Mai, Thailand to write her book. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And she's like, do you want to come with me? Do you want to join me? And at the time I was living in Miami, and, you know, I was born and raised there. I had been there for many years. And I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and most of my business could be run anywhere. And I had never really considered going abroad and living internationally like this. But I got accepted to a program in Dubai, a leadership journey. So I was already going to be in the Middle East, and it was a really easy ticket to get to Thailand from there. So I said yes, and I went to Thailand, and I spent like the first month with her before she left to Bali. But most of my experience in Thailand has been like a long silent retreat, like where I've been by myself for the most part. I live I live in the city of Chiang Mai. I live in a town where outside of the main city. So I live with a lot of the locals. So I don't they don't speak a lot of them don't speak English, and I don't speak Thai. I don't have very many friends here, um, and I live by myself. So it's been a very long, it's been an incredibly beautiful journey of self-reflection and introspection, and really me tuning into truly the silence and the wisdom and the medicine of the silence. And what I found is that in in getting away and breaking free from my life and my comfort zone, and breaking free from all the attachments and everything that I knew back home, I was able to kind of really sit with a lot of fear and a lot of pain, um, and just literally hold myself in through all of it. Even the moments when I've wanted to just kind of revert back to old, you know, patterns, or sabotage my experience, or maybe come back home, or whatever. It's been a lot of really the shadow work of me just sitting there in my pain and crying, and allowing anything that wants to come through, and as I said before, to come up and out. And so a lot of it has been like healing from, you know, a breakup. And I call it like rehabilitation from the United States and the West and the capitalism. So a lot of my mind wants to like immediately go towards um, like worrying and fear, and I know that that is old. That's learned programming. That's not mine. It's ancestral and it's generational. And I realize that the work of deepening and our own healing is the work of a lifetime. It's the work of our generation. It's the work of our parents and grandparents, and folks that have come before us that maybe didn't get the chance to do the work to go there. And so there have been moments when I've been on the floor just weeping for hours, just working through some deep stuff that has wanted to come through. And I know that, and I know in my body that it's the last bit of it, because it's so uncomfortable and so disorienting. But I know that there's just tremendous freedom on the other side if I'm willing to just be courageous enough to sit with it and face it, and to love myself despite anything that wants to come through. Love myself even in the moments when I don't know how to love myself. Love myself in the moments when I don't want to love myself. Love myself in those moments when I just want to just like revert back to an old shame spiral and a shame story of not being good enough or not being worthy, or loving myself even when I want to be small. Like when I literally just want to hide and be invisible. Because that is also old learned programming too. It's not the truth of me. Because you know the reality is that we're made in the image of the creator, and God, love, unity, whatever. And in me loving myself fully, it's like the greatest revolution and the greatest rebellion almost. It's the greatest, most beautiful thing that I can do. And and this experience of being and tapping into the silence has had such ripple effects in my business as well. Right. So like the more that I love myself, the more that I love my business, the more that I love life, the more that I love other people, the more my capacity has stretched. My capacity and my plate has grown for what I'm able to hold and carry, and how I'm able to see things for myself. So if I spot misalignment in myself, I'm able to spot misalignment in others more quickly. and therefore more apt to help them as well. So I hope I answered your question, but yeah, this whole experience has been one wild, crazy, silent retreat.
Well,
Yeah.
I love the stories and the journey you've been on, and it's hard to believe that you, Harry, can become any more enlightened, but you indeed have. And I think everybody that shared this class together has really felt your inspiration and your wisdom and your peace and your calm. And I thank you. I thank you so much. And a lot of people have asked, what's the best way to reach out to you? So would you share what I know we have streaming, your Twitter handle, Instagram handle, LinkedIn handle, and mention something about your Halo project.
Yes, these are absolutely the best way to reach me. I'm most active on Instagram, but lately I've been very active on Twitter as well. And on my Instagram and on Twitter, you can find my personal blog. It's called the Halo Project. And it's an acronym that I created, HALO, that stands for Healing, Authenticity, Love, Liberation, Leadership, and Om and Oneness. So it's all
And your
about
name.
consciousness. And my name is Harry Lopez, and
And I mean, Halo is also your name.
Oh, Halo is my name as well. Halo, Halo, Halo. So Halo is Harry Lopez in one, and it's supposed to be symbolic of like divinity and connection to source and to light and love. That's really what I want to do here, is like have these kinds of conversations that are so nourishing. I don't often get to have these conversations.
Well, it's perfect, and it's perfect for the International Day of Calm and our Calm Summit, because it really is what we're talking about here. Changing you so we can change the future. Changing you so we can stop these generational cycles of dysfunction and abuse that go on and on and on, and start creating a new generational cycle, a new history for your family. So that's what this is all about. And always grateful for you, Harry, and you're way too far away, but
I know.
but see, you're right here next to me, and so I give you a virtual hug because I love and adore you. And
I love you too, Celia, so much.
Everybody else here does too now, and you've made more new friends today. That's what they've said.
Good, I need new friends. Because I'm too in the silence lately.
He's taking applications. So, well, funny. Thank you, Harry. We're going to have to say goodbye to you because we're welcoming our next speaker. We're going to take a little break before we bring on Chris Lake. That was also a rhyme. And I'm very good at rhyming. And Nick's here. Hi, Nick. And we thank you so much, Harry. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And
thank you, Celia. Thank you all
see you
so
next
much.
Time.
The International Day of Calm is brought to you by